And we are live. I think. This is my first ever live stream. I've got one person on Instagram. Hello, Instagram coming in. Obviously nobody on YouTube because nobody wants to watch on YouTube. And I'll just turn that off. 2 seconds. I think I'm going to have echo here. This is my first ever. So yes, if I turn the music off in the background, hopefully I don't have echo. Can anybody in the chat let me know if I have any echo? That'd be lovely. I might even be able to watch it on my phone. But yes, tonight I'm just going to do a little edit and chill stream, I think. That should be quite nice. I can't watch myself live. Maybe I can from a different account. Yeah, I can. Edit and chill stream. Excellent. Audio's okay. People have joined. Fantastic. But if you want to see this a little bit better, maybe pop over to YouTube. I'm also live on there doing the same thing, but you might be able to see my screen a little bit better. So I'm going to do an edit tonight for Instagram, and I'm going to start, as I always do, on Adobe Bridge, actually. And I need to choose a little, hello mate, hi Jones J. But yeah, please join in on the chat. I've got chats out here so I can see what's going on. I've got a big cup of tea, which is lovely. And yeah, I'm probably going to go for a solid Faroe Islands edit today. And what day shall I go for from the Faroe Islands? Honestly, we could have a look at another Aurora photo, actually. That'd be pretty cool. That's some amazing Aurora, actually, up when we stayed in Funninga the second week we were there. And it was incredible stuff, actually. So, I mean, you can just see how much it was popping off. And this was right at the start of the night. And then some clouds came in, but then they cleared. Where's my favourite place that I visited? Good question, actually. My most favourite place probably would be the Faroe Islands. I'm not going to lie. The chance of Northern Lights was amazing. And actually, being able to just not be far from the sea, easily go up into the mountains, easily get around pretty much all of the islands. It's just a great place to be, actually, Faroe Islands. So, Aurora, I got a nice one, but there's the cloud there. I'm not sure. I've already done a few edits of the Aurora. This was when I first started trying to do a little standing with a light. I actually nailed it a bit later on in the evening. But I might try and go down to when I was next to the church in Funninga, which is another little photo spot. Here's the church. And actually this, how long was that? Was that 15 seconds? Maybe a bit long for an Aurora photo. Maybe I did that for the foreground. And then I did that for the Aurora, which was 2.5 seconds exposure. So maybe I'll just take both of those in and blend them together. I think these are the same. So which is the best Aurora? Yeah, these four are the same. So I'm going to take that one and probably this one, because you've got that big spike there, or this one is a bit, I'll take that. I'll take those two. Right, so I'll open those up in Camera Raw, and as Camera Raw opens, I'll switch my scene, and we should switch straight over to Camera Raw. Brilliant. Yeah, it is easy to get around there, actually. Real easy. Rented a car. The airport is tiny. It's literally two gates and it's just two doors next to each other. And then you just walk outside, pick up a car, and you can literally drive to the other end of the Faroe Islands in about an hour and a half. So it is really easy to get around. MG. Wogie, that mug. Yeah, this mug. I'm having a big tea through the editing this evening. So let's have a look. The first thing I'm going to do on these two is camera raw denoise, actually. And if I have a look in the sky, you can see how much that clears up. I'm not sure how much you can see on Instagram if you're watching there. If you watch over on Facebook, it'll be a lot better. But I'll just enhance those two photos and get rid of all of that noise. And then I'll probably move on to a little bit of editing. Oh, my computer's making hell of a noise. Don't know if you can hear that. Hopefully not, but it's going to bug me. So I want to do some edits on... What's this? This is the 15-second one, and this is the 2.5-second exposure. So this is going to be my foreground, and then I'll edit the other one for my background. So I'm going to start off just bringing up shadows and actually just changing the color. The color cast under Aurora is incredibly green, as you can imagine. So if I say I want that to be white, that changes that quite a lot. Look at that. Now the Aurora's a bit washed out for me on this now, but it's not too bad. So other things I always do is mask the sharpness and boost the sharpness a little. I also want to drop those shadows a bit. It looks too light for me, that foreground, for a nighttime photo. So I'm just going to bring it back down a bit. And I'm going to crush the blacks a little. And I'm going to stick on a little bit of vignette, actually. So radial filter, invert it, and maybe just sort of bring down the edges, exposure, and the shadows back down a bit on the edges. Bit annoyed by this bright light from the harbour front there, but flights a lot to the Faroes. They weren't too bad, actually. I think we paid like 200 odd quid each to fly out to the Faroes, but we flew BA from Heathrow via Copenhagen, so it was 2 flights. And then the only place actually in the UK you can fly from is Edinburgh directly, which is probably a bit cheaper, but getting from where I am all the way up to Edinburgh would be a bit crazy. So yeah, I don't know. But the flights aren't too bad, actually, and there's plenty of flights that go out there, especially if you can get out to Copenhagen and connect and go up that way. Yeah, Sean R20, it was unbelievably beautiful to see. Somebody actually in YouTube chat, check that out. Oh, this live stuff's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I spent 4 hours this evening. I think if I go back to Bridge a second, Bridge, and switch over to here, go up to the top. I actually just stood outside the little Airbnb we were staying in, and this is 1.3 seconds handheld at 64,000 ISO, and I could see a little bit of pink in the sky, and I was just like, there's going to be some aurora soon. There's going to be some aurora. And this is literally the little sheep barn that was looking outside the front door of the Airbnb we stayed in. And I told Kaz, right, we've got to get out now. We've got to get out. I think it was like 11:30 at night. I was out until 4 in the morning, until the sun started to come up and we were out of night time and into twilight. So yeah, I made the most of the evening. It was just incredible. But going back to Photoshop, This one I've edited for the foreground a little bit. And then this one is going to be the sky. So I want to bring out some of the reds that are above the greens in the aurora. So if you see the aurora from lower latitudes, and let's say it really popped off, and I've seen some people from the Dolomites, so the Alps, actually catching the aurora, because you're looking sort of around the Earth, all you're seeing is up towards the top of the aurora. So you only see the red bits at the top, the bottom bits are green. But further north you go, the more underneath the aurora you can get. And that's why in the Faroe Islands, I thought I had to look north to go and see the aurora when it started going off. I thought I've got to view north and then see, and that's where I'll be able to see it, because I've only barely seen it from the UK once before. And actually, it was all over the sky. I didn't have to look north at all. I could look north, south, east, west. It was literally everywhere. But I don't want to overexpose this. I'm going to keep an eye on my histogram up there. But I really want to make these pop. So I'm just going to bring the shadows up a little bit. If I bring the highlights down, look at that. I can actually start getting some of that detail back into the bars of the aurora. Bring the whites up. So highlights down, whites up. That's starting to look pretty nice now, actually. But I do want to get the colours a bit better and get some of that red in. Ooh, that's a bit much. Let's go back. Too much red. Just playing around with the white balance here. Problem is, I'm making this sky red as well, which I don't really want to do. So I need to bring that back down. But maybe if I put a grad filter on, and then just make that a bit more red. There you go. Look at that. Bringing in some lovely colours into the aurora there. So I'm going to select sky, another selection, and then I've got just playing with the sky there, and I'm going to bring some contrast, deep contrast into that sky. Start bringing some of those stars in at the top there. And I don't want to boost the saturation too much because it is quite bright and saturated already. Maybe a little bit of texture and a little bit of clarity, but not too much, because that's going to boost out the whites. And we're already starting to lose a bit of detail in the whites there, actually. So, this is my sky edit, this is my foreground edit, and I'm going to blend them together in Photoshop very shortly. Is there anything else I need to do with the sky there? I don't think so, actually. All right, so I'm going to select these two and open as objects in Photoshop. A lot of people coming in and lurking and not saying anything in the chat. So if you're here and in the chat, just say hello and I will say hello back. Right. Let's bring these into the same plane of existence. Let's work in this one. So I'm going to call this one sky and this one foreground. And I've got my two there. Because these are objects, I'm just going to put these in a group and call them objects, raw. And I'll duplicate that group and call this rasterized. So once they are rasterized, select these and rasterize the layers. I think they should be fully aligned, but I'm just going to select them and align them anyway. Auto align layers, auto. I doubt they'll move that much. I thought maybe they were aligned anyway. Maybe that's... Yeah. All right, let's select sky on that one. And then mask it, bring it in. And there we go. Honestly, I don't think that's any good. Right, I'm just going to do that on here as well. Select sky. Anyone who want to say hello? People joining in the chat, but nobody's saying hello. Say hello. Say hello. I'm just sat here, having a cup of tea, editing some photos. All right. Mask. Well, that's much better. I don't know why I've done this whole nonsense. Nice. Let's go back before I did the alignment. So many undos to do, but hopefully that'll be fine. There. Okay. So select sky, add the layer mask, boom. All right, that's brought in my cleaner foreground, which is a slightly different color. Hello, Philip. I will say hello. I do need to keep checking chat, which is over there. But hello, thanks for joining. All right. Still not sure about that foreground though. I think the colors are a bit off compared to the sky. So I'm going to put a color balance in and play around with that a bit. And most of the color balance is actually going to be done in the shadows because it's quite a dark bit of the image. I think it needs to be a little less bluey. Maybe check the midtones as well, because if I go blue on the midtones, it just doesn't quite match the sky. So a little bit more yellow in, warm up that foreground a bit. Nice. I think actually we've got a decent blend right off the bat there. That's really good without me having to go and mess around with the layer masks. So Photoshop sky detection is getting a lot better. All right. That is blended. I'm going to start by that now. Start editing the actual photo. Now I've blended them together. I'm going to do on the highlights, brightness and contrast. So extra contrast into the sky. Bring the brightness down because I don't want to blow out those details. And then do the same again, but change that to reduce the contrast in the shadows. Just bring that a little bit softer on the bottom there. Then, what else do I need to do? Let's have a look at it on a white background, actually. Whoa, that's bright. That is bright. Obviously, I'll level it in a bit, but for now, I am going to try and add a bit of glow, actually. So I'll make a new layer, and then I shall blur it, bit of Gaussian blur. Let's say 95 pixels. And change that to soft light. Thing is, it's so dark. There we are. I'll just do it on the highlights. Just that extra glow on the highlights. Look at that saturation coming in there. That's quite nice. And then if I want to put a little bit, just reduce the density on that mask to put a little bit onto the shadows. 85, that's good. Right, now I'm going to start working on the foreground a bit more. So first thing I'm going to do is a bit of a clean. Bit cloud there, take that off. A little bit of a satellite there, take that off. I'm just using content aware fill for this. Yeah, that looks all right. Foreground. Look at that. It's just, don't need that. But I'm gonna stamp a little bit of, so it's a bit more horizontal. And I'm not sure about these bits at the front here. I don't quite like them. Bit of a distraction on the edge. So I am going to see if I can just content aware these things out. Clean up that wall so it's just wall. And then I don't know what to do about this here. It's just so bright. It's such a distraction. Even, you know, you zoom all the way out, and then the first thing you look at is the bloody lights there. So let's see if I can dodge and burn them first. I'll just create a new layer in case I screw up, which I probably will. Highlights, and let's put the exposure right up. See, those are blown out, so there's actually no detail behind that anymore. It's just that bright. But even if I just take down the highlights there, because there's no detail, it's just going to go grey and ugh. Even if I just, you know, bring down the mids there, it's like I need to put something there instead of that. Don't know what to do there really. Let's delete that layer because that's crap. Everyone who's just joined, how's it going? Philip, great mate. Sunday night, good weekend. Not looking forward to Monday morning. Well, actually I am. Monday should be all right in work. Unfortunately, work isn't photography for me. Maybe one day. Maybe if enough people join my live streams while I'm editing. But all is good. We're not talking about the football though, because that was crap. Right, back to photo editing. I wonder whether to just extend this roof right down and just pretend it's one big roof. Let's make that hardness a bit more. Let's do that. We're just going to pretend this is one big slab of roof, and then nobody will be none the wiser that I forgot there was some really bright lights on the harbour front. Let's get rid of all of this. Put a bit there. So I just need to be I'm being a bit crude tonight actually, in terms of I'm usually a little bit more of a stickler about masking pixel perfect, but this is just going on Instagram. I'm not even going to print this or anything, so it doesn't really matter so long as it sort of looks okay. Let's get rid of this where I went over a bit. And yeah, let's copy this roof into here as well. Get rid of this big bright spot. Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. Hello everyone who's just joined. Also live over on YouTube. There's a few people watching on YouTube actually. Hello to those on YouTube. You'll probably be able to see this a lot better than the guys on Instagram. But if you're on Instagram, link in my bio to my website. Link to my YouTube. It's Tony J Hughes. Lots of good content on there. I don't know. You be the judge whether it's good content or not. Lots of content on there. And if you want to see what I'm doing, you might be able to see better on YouTube. I'm just stamp cloning at the moment, this really crudely, this making one big roof, getting rid of the brightness. Just yeah, we're just going to pretend that's one big roof. And I'm just going to get rid of that black bit as well. Sod it. Nobody's going to know. So and that's just got rid of that distraction down there now. If I zoom out, well, actually, for those on Instagram, I'll keep zoomed in. But you see the difference between that and that? It's just completely got rid of that blown out white spot, which was completely distracting. I want people to look at the foreground and at the sky. I don't want people the eye to be drawn down to that. That's basic error in me taking the photo, which a little bit of extra work in post, but now somebody's got a huge roof that goes down to the floor on their house. So I really need to make this foreground pop a bit more. So I'm just going to copy this layer again and try and do some dodging and burning and bring up some of the midtones here in the wall. Not too much. Not too much on the grass there. But on this wall, make it pop a bit more. And then the church is my main subject. So I do need this to pop. So I'm just dodging up the midtones there. Highlights. Let's see what that does on the roof. Just to maybe bring a little bit more detail into the roof. Let's go, Tony. Mr. Shane, how you doing? Good to see you on stream. So, yeah, bringing up those highlights. Yeah, maybe a little bit on there. A little bit on the roof. Oh, that's a bit too much. Let's bring that down so I can be a bit better with it. I think that's looking all right. It's just that bit there. It's a bit dark. Maybe I'll just bring shadows, just a click of shadows up there. And I'm going to bring the highlights down on this tree because it's a little bit distracting. These bits, tiny bits, look, just these tiny bits. Just get rid of them. Don't need them. Some people don't like this way of editing photos, but Sodom, it's my photo. Right. Bring down those highlights. Don't need them that bright. And in the bottom there, and this. Gate. There we go. So, let's take a look. What have I done? I cleaned it up a bit. I took some bits off around the sea. Took the sticks off the front. Then I took away this really big distracting bit. Now I've done a bit of dodging and burning on the foreground. And you can see it's a lot better than it was before. But actually, you can see I've gone over into the sky a bit there. I flip it on and off. So what I'm going to do is, actually I'll just mask that out. So this is how I edit my photos. It's lots of different layers, big Photoshop files, but it's non-destructive. So if I do something I don't like, and I can go back to every single step I've been in the past, I can see what I've done. Here we go. Let's make it look a bit more natural. Just this bit there. Lovely. All right, so church popping a bit. Sky's definitely popping. Clouds are green. Don't know what to do with the clouds. So let's make a new layer. And I'm actually going to go back into Camera Raw. I do this quite a lot. I do a bit of Camera Raw, go into Photoshop, do some cleaning, blend the photos together if that's what's needed, and then I go back into Camera Raw to do some other stuff, especially like vignetting and sort of getting that tone map at the end. Camera raw is looking all right. What was I going to do? Ah, look at these clouds. So green. So I love the selections in Camera Raw / Lightroom now. So I'm going to start with sky, and then I'm going to subtract a linear gradient. I do this all the time. Say, right, I only want to deal with this bottom half. And maybe I just want to change the color a little bit. See, if I just bring that temperature down and the tint up a bit on that bottom bit of the sky, I'm getting a bit more color out of the aurora at the back, and those clouds just aren't as blue or as green as they were. Much love, Tony. Thanks, Rich. If you're watching on YouTube, see a few of you are. Just say hello in the chat. Any questions, just let me know. If I'm doing something that you haven't seen before, or I'm doing something that you don't think's right, you can let me know. If you're on Instagram, I am live on YouTube. You can see this a lot better on a bigger screen. But I think this dual stream thing's kind of working at the moment. So, yeah, I've sorted those. I'm just going to leave that there and sort that out and call this Camera Raw Cloud Fix, so I know what I've done. So it's taken some of that green away. I think that's good though. That green was getting a bit alien-like. That's a little softer and a bit nicer on that sky there. And those clouds look a bit more like clouds. So that is much better. And the sky. Nice bit of blue in the sky. I like that. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Right, I'm going to copy this and go back into Camera Raw again. Because I do just want to have a go at this bit down here. Because what I can see is that this is just a lot colder than the side here, which is a lot oranger, a lot warmer. So I'm going to warm up this side of the church a bit to match it. So if I match that, that looks a bit better, doesn't it? What do you think? Let's turn it off. Cold wall looks different all the way down. Bit warmer. Let's just go super warm, sod it. I'm going to subtract the background because I don't want the gradient in here. Sweet. Hi, Transit, Sally, Salty, hello. Feel free just to say hello in the chat. You don't just have to lurk. I am just sitting here drinking a cup of tea, editing a photo. You can say hello if you want to. Nice. All right. Yeah, I'm going to bring that across. Yeah, keep the blue there. Okay, nice. Also, I think it's time to have a look at the shape of this church. I was quite close to it, and it's a wide angle lens, and that's just a little bit. Can I do that in here? Geometry? Yes. Right. Let's draw some lines. See if we can make this look any better. First off, that horizon line at the back, absolutely all over the place. So let's draw one on the church as well. Make that flat. See what that does. No, absolutely not. Let's make that vertical. Ah, that looks crap as well. Wow. Okay. See, I'm a landscape photographer. I don't take photos of buildings that often. Wide angle and buildings just don't really mix. How about we just... Well, that's not level, is it? Photoshop. What's that all about? Apply only level correction. What is that leveled on? The wall? Nonsense. Computers aren't taking over the world just yet. Okay. Let's do it manually. Right. Scale in, get rid of that stuff on the side. Actually, that's got rid of a lot of stuff on the bottom, apart from this bit of grass. But that's not too bad. Let's stick with that. That looks okay. I don't know whether we want to change it anymore. So I'm just going to stick with that. And I think that looks a lot better in terms of that horizon line. It's just all over the place. And now, because of the way I've taken it, I've cut off a bit of that foreground, but that's not too bad. So, just because I've got that one tiny bit of grass, I'm going to darken that down a bit. And just kind of keep the wall. And I think we're almost there. Anything else I want to do? Right, let's just try and make it pop a bit more. Back to Camera Raw for that. Hello everyone who's just joined. So if anybody's got any questions, put them in the chat. I'll try and answer them. If you're on Instagram, I'm actually live on Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube at the same time. So pop over to YouTube. You might be able to see it a bit better if you are interested and want to chill with me on a Sunday evening doing an edit. Or, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Where's Camera Raw gone? Sorry, I completely confused myself there. All right, this is cool. This is cool. We're almost there. Now, I want to try and make this pop a bit more. So we're going to start off by trying to bring people's eye into the subject. So, grad filter at the top. Reduce down that exposure. And actually that brings out some more detail in the aurora, which is quite cool. Now, stupid vignetting. Now I've got a tiny foreground here and mostly sky. But what I do is, right, say that's my vignettes. Just invert that. But I only really want to vignette the foreground. I don't want to do the sky. So I subtract the sky here. So literally I'm just working on the edges. Why does the sky not include that bit? All right, subtract brush. That bit as well. And just bring that exposure down a little, bit of contrast. But well, black's right up and then exposure down. No, that's not quite working. So crush those blacks and just bring the exposure down. Move that up a little maybe. And then I want to do sort of like the opposite. So kind of do that. Subtract the sky again. And make that red bit pop a bit more on the top. So I think that's sort of working. All right, so let's see what difference that has made. Right, so now you can see what I've done. This is without what my little vignetting changes. Quite bright on the edge. Not sure you can see my cursor, but what if I make it a big brush? Yeah. So around this area, you see it's quite bright. Not so much down there. That mountain's dark anyway. And it's quite evenly lit at the bottom there. And actually, I want people to have a look at the main subject, which is this. And with that change, I've now darkened down this left-hand corner and right-hand corner, and you've sort of got this light coming onto the church. Off, on, off, on. So the eye is now immediately brought into this steeple of the church and into the church, and then you look up into the sky, and then there's beautiful aurora, and there's not many distractions apart from this post. That's the last thing I'm going to do. This is going to be called post removal. And then that sort of works. All right. Let's get rid of that. That doesn't work. All right. If content aware fill doesn't work, we'll just copy and paste some stones from around there. Let's just fix the bottom of that. Post has gone. Look at that. Distracting post. And there we are. I think we're done. We've denoised already. Doesn't need extra sharpening, especially with stars in the sky. I think these are pretty sharp anyway if I zoom right in. Look how sharp they are. That doesn't need any extra sharpening. I don't think I want to take away some of this, completely take away the grain in the sky. But done. What do you think? I guess if you like it, I'm going to post it on Instagram in a minute, and you can go over and like the Instagram post. Let's just see what an extra cheeky glow looks like. So filter, to do that, filter blur, Gaussian blur, 95, Orky. And then soft light that over. Oh, that's crazy. But I only want to really do it on the highlights because it completely takes out all of the shadows. So let me do image, apply image, multiply, and then I've got a mask just for the highlights, which looks like that. That's my highlights. And then that's brought back in some of that saturation and a bit more glow into the sky and a bit more glow here. I think that's good. I think I'm done. So that is it. Sunday night edit and chill stream. I finished my cup of tea. Oh, I haven't actually. I've still got tea left. That's the having such a big tea. I mean, look at it next to my head. That's ridiculously big. So have a big mug basically. So yeah, I'm going to post this on Instagram shortly and go make some dinner. For those of you who joined, thank you. If you enjoyed it, I might do some more live content. I might probably do some more live edits, to be honest, because I'm just sat here editing. I may as well talk to a stream of people not saying hello and lurking in the chat for a while. If you want to see this back, it'll be available on YouTube as a VOD, actually, called Sunday Edit and Chill. And yeah, I might do a few more of these. I might do some podcasty style stuff. If anybody around there who's a photographer wants to come on and just chat cameras and stuff for a while, might set up some podcasts. If anybody's got any other ideas of stuff they'd like to see on a live stream photography channel, then I guess let me know. But this is content. 45 minutes of content just made on the fly. Not too bad. So back to chat. And yeah, if I'm not sure if you can see these Instagram lives after they've been, if they're going to be on my profile or not, or if anybody's going to sit on Instagram and watch this for 45 minutes, considering how small the screen is on there. That's ridiculous. But yeah, if you joined, thanks for joining. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, whatever. I'm going to maybe do a few more of these, see how they go. But if I just talk to a screen for 45 minutes while editing a photo, which is something I do most days anyway, and it makes a bit of content and some people get some stuff out of it, perfect. But I guess until next time, thank you and goodbye. I'm still here. I need to click end again. That whole... Yeah. Start it.